Starting with the QB, Sean, I know you kind of went through two scenarios. You want to talk me through them?
Yeah, so we're going to go through each position here. We're going to start at the quarterback. Now, the big news is that everyone probably knows is Drew Brees is out of commission, multiple broken ribs, collapsed lung. They're giving him a possible timetable of a couple weeks. That's not going to happen. He's going to be out longer than that. Probably won't even have him for the fantasy playoffs. So the question is, do we pick up Jameis Winston? So Jameis Winston right now is at $5,900 and DraftKings. And then we have Ben Roethlisberger, who's going to be facing off against the Jacksonville Jaguars at 6,700. Now, Winston.
Sean, I got to correct you and interrupt you. I'm on. I'm on FanDuel. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, this is DraftKings, and maybe FanDuel may be different.
It's higher.
So actually, I'm going to throw this question to Katie first. Katie, you have Jameis Winston, who's starting. We don't know what to expect. He's a gunslinger, but prone to mistakes. So I look at him as a potential upside here, but maybe a low floor. Or you got Roethlisberger, all of his weapons working on all cylinders with Johnson, Claypool, Schuster. They're going against Jacksonville, bottom tier defense. They are traveling to Jacksonville. Now, there is a $800 difference between these players. Do you have a preference if you had to pick one of these guys up?
I would go with Roethlisberger. I don't care that he's more. I think Jameis Winston is too risky. It's his first game starting, right? I mean, yes, he went in last game, but him and Drew Brees have very different styles of play. He's a deep ball guy.
One throws interceptions and one throws touchdowns.
Yeah, and I don't know how that's going to mesh as well first game starting with the Saints system.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, but my thought here is if you're going a little bit lower on other positions, like if you have a safe floor on some of the other positions, but maybe not quite the ceiling, Jameis Winston may be a good ceiling pick for you. I look at him as a feast and famine or famine option this week. He's going against Atlanta. Now, Atlanta, you may think, oh, awful defense. But since they fired their coach, I mean, what's been going on there?
They've been better.
They've been better, yeah. They've actually been a middle-tier passing defense, only giving up around 250 to 260 yards in their last three matchups. So I am a little bit worried about Winston going into this one, but I think if he lets it loose, he has the potential at least to get 2 or 3 TDs. But you're right, I think his floor is low. Coming into a new system, they may play it conservative. You have Taysom Hill there. What is he going to do? What's going to be his involvement? We have a lot of question marks. But if you need that high ceiling at a low price tag, only $5,900, it's not a bad player to take potentially.
I'm actually showing Jameson Winston. Okay, yeah, you're right. Sorry, I'm don't listen to me. But
that's all right.
Going now, switching gears on a low price tag to your next quarterback matchup you were talking to me about today for $5,500, Joe Burrow.
Yeah, so we have a matchup, Washington and Cincinnati, and you have Joe Burrow, Alex Smith. Now, Alex Smith actually played pretty well against Detroit. He was impressive. Now, I don't believe he had a touchdown, but he threw for over 300 yards.
Way over 300. It was like 390 or something.
Yeah, 390. Yeah, he was actually close to 400.
Yeah, 390. Yeah.
Now he's starting to get integrated in this system. He's starting to get used to his weapons with especially J.D. McKissick. I mean, J.D. McKissick is getting like 15 targets a game. So he is the drop. He's just dropping it off to J.D. McKissick. It feels like every other throw. But he's showing maybe a propensity to move the ball against the Cincinnati defense. Now on the other side of the ball, you got Joe Burrow, who has been able to produce this season. But I'm a little worried about him going up against the pass rush of the Washington football team. Okay, yeah, Chase Young, he's going to be chasing down the QB. I'm a little bit worried about Joe Burrow here. I'm thinking that he may be prone to some turnovers, maybe getting some sacks. I'm worried about their ability to move the ball. Now, Washington has given up the least amount of passing yards per game in the league at under 195 yards per game. So, Katie, I'm going to throw this question to you. Given the $5,300 price tag for Alex Smith, $5,500 price tag for Joe Burrow, who would you go with?
I'm going Alex Smith. I think he's been playing in that system for a while. He's getting used to it. I think that's the better way. Burrow, to your point, he's going to get crushed. I think bad offensive line, pass rush. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think the safer play here is an Alex Smith. I think he just is a more conservative player. He just is. He knows how to make the plays when he needs to. He's not going to get you a 4 TD, 500-yard game. But he knows how to move the ball. I think he's going to give you a safer floor. Joe Burrow, I am a little bit worried, but I feel like he could have I'm just worried about the pass rush and the relevance of that pass rush and their secondary. So I think I'm going to go Alex Smith here as well. But I just have a feeling about Joe Burrow this week. I don't know why, because all the stats are telling me not to take him. But I just have a feeling like he's going to be able to make some big plays in this one.
Hey, I always follow my gut in fantasy. So I'm not going to go to running back. I'm going to leave that to the end because you have a very interesting position on running backs this week. So wide receivers, this is where you're going for value. It seems from our conversation, you got 3 of them.
Yeah, I'm doing super value picks here, as we'll talk about in a minute. I'm paying up for my RBs this week. Wide receivers, some of the guys that I'm targeting are Justin Jefferson of the Minnesota Vikings. He has 4 games already this year of over 100 yards. Him and Case Keenum are just on fire right now. They're just getting things done. I really like the way that they connected against the Chicago Bears. And he put up some big catches, some big yards in that one, over 100 yards in that one. Now he's $6,000. He's moving up the boards a little bit as far as his price tag.
He's actually more than that now.
Oh, last time I checked, he was 6,000.
I'm on DraftKings right now, just 6,700.
That's weird. In mine right now, I see 6,000. I'm looking at my lineup. Oh, and I'm sorry, Kirk Cousins. I completely messed up QB there. Kirk Cousins. But yeah, Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson hooking up. I'm still going to him. They're playing Dallas. Dallas is not. I just feel like people can make big plays against them, and I think Jefferson is going to be a benefactor of that this week. The other guy, Jacoby Myers, New England. New England is going to Houston, and he has just been lighting it up recently. He's been getting 10-plus targets in almost every matchup, getting 10-plus fantasy points in each of his matchups. He's a safe play at $4,900. That's what I have him at right now when I'm looking at my DraftKings. And then the other guy is, what's that?
I'm not going to debate the price anymore. We'll just go with your values.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what I'm looking at my card right here.
No, fine.
But the other guy I'm looking at is Mike Williams. You got Justin Herbert, who is just rookie of the year, almost status right now.
Whoa. Let's table that conversation.
I mean, I have a huge stock in him in our league. So I'm rooting for him to continue on his pace. He's basically getting me 30-plus points every game. So I'm hoping that continues.
Josh Allen's rookie of the year. But
okay. Well, I'm gonna say Herbert. Just for sake of argument.
Mike Williams' numbers are pretty good. He hasn't had the consistency of Jefferson. I'm looking at his stats right now.
Yeah.
Playing the Jets though.
Yeah, he's playing the Jets. And he's a deep threat. And Herbert has shown that he has a propensity to go to him. In his last couple games, 8 targets, 5 catches, 7 targets, 5 catches, and then he did have a dud recently, only 5 targets and 2. But I think he's a little bit more of a boom bust candidate here, but I'm going to trust him going against the Jets. We have some fans of the show that are Jets fans, and we know how they usually fare in these types of matchups. So he's only $5,100, so he's a pretty low price tag.
So Sean,
for his prudential value.
Where are you spending your money?
Spending my money this week on RBs, and the reason for that is, and just to kind of tie this into the wide receiver discussion, is I don't like who the top prospects this week are at wide receiver, who they're facing, what their matchups look like. And on the other side, for running backs, the lower tier guys you may be trying to target, getting value there, I don't like their matchups. So I'm actually paying up. I'm going to be going with Alvin Kamara, as Atlanta takes on New Orleans. And then I'm going Dalvin Cook and as they're taking on Dallas. So they're big price tags, but these guys produce week in and week out, not only on the ground, but also in the passing game. But so I'm a little bit, because Katie brings up a good point. She brings up a good point about New Orleans. She said that, hey, we have a new QB in play here. They may need to change things up. The play calling may change a little bit. Are we confident in Kamara here? I mean, we've seen him not be super productive in certain situations.
I think it's going to be dependent on his first set. I mean, if Winston looks like a passing threat and he's got command of the offense, Kamara's got a game again. If he gets shut down and it looks like he's not going to be able to do anything, Kamara's value is out the window at $9,000.
Yeah, $9,000. So he's he's maybe a chalk play at this point. I mean, I still trust they're going to go to him because he's the most definite producer in that lineup, but I am a little bit hesitant there. Dalvin Cook, I think, is just an every week plug and play. He's just a monster on the ground. Can we just
record that Katie brings up a good point here?
We will highlight that. It will be on our highlight reel at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Katie, what are your thoughts on Kamara and Cook?
I would go with Cook in this situation too. Anytime you've got a new quarterback plugged in, I get nervous. I mean, I think he's obviously a good enough player and he's going to get enough touches that he's still going to give you fantasy production. But for the amount of money you're paying, I think I'd rather go Cook.
Yeah. I would agree on that as well. So you may say, hey, if I'm not willing to pay up, I'm only willing to pay up for one of these guys. And it sounds like the unanimous decision is Dalvin Cook. You can't deny him. He's just a monster. We watched him against the Bears on Monday, and the Bears are a good defensive front, and he was stuck for part of the game, but then you saw him to start to break out toward the end. So they will keep giving him the ball. But if you're not going to go with Kamara, I'm actually looking at Kalen Ballage at $5,600, again, against the Jets. He has been getting 15-plus carries in the last couple matchups. Eckler's not there. Jackson's not there. Kelly's not really as much in the picture. So I really like Kalen Ballage here, $5,600.
Yeah.
He's also getting involved in the passing game. I think he had 5 or 6 targets last game for 34 yards.
5 targets for 34 yards, or 6 targets, 5 receptions. You're right. And then he's increasing his touches, 15 and then 18. So, linear, progression would say he's going to get, maybe 20.
I think they're gaining trust. I think that system, I think Herbert's gaining trust going in the passing game. And he's producing and going against the Jets. Anything can happen. He's only $5,600. So you're talking, compared to a $9,000 price tag, you're talking about a $4,400 difference here, or a $3,400 difference. And I think it's a no-brainer to maybe put him in here with that kind of investment. You may be playing in a Dalvin Cook, maybe play a Kalen Ballage as your second spot. What do you think here, Katie? What is your thoughts on Kalen Ballage?
I mean, I think to the point you've got a QB that's figuring things out, and anytime you've got the passing game working, right, it's also going to help the run game because you can switch it up. So I'm fine with that. I like that play.
So Sean, do you have a tight end pick of the week?
Man, tight ends have been so tough. Katie, I'm just going to throw you under the bus here because I feel like nobody could predict what the heck is happening in the tight end landscape. Maybe you'll give us some luck. Like, what do you think about if you had to pick a tight end other than a Travis Kelce? So you can't pick him. Who else would you pick up? Like, who would be somebody you would maybe target that you think and maybe you have confidence in?
No one. I was really excited because I also picked up Goddard off the waivers because somebody dropped him rather than putting him on an IR spot. And so I was pretty excited about that. But since Carson Wentz can't seem to throw the ball accurately to anybody, that hasn't worked out so well.
Could be his week.
True.
Could be his week against Cleveland.
And then, I started with Jared Cook, and then with Michael Thomas being back, that's been garbage. And then I had Gesicki for a while. So I just feel like you just got to pick one, and pick one and hope for the best.
Tight ends are becoming like the kicker where I almost want to get rid of them in my normal leagues because there's only like you get like two tight ends, they'll score 20 points, and then everyone else is 0, 5, 1. And it's like, and if you don't have them, you like could lose a whole week on it. And it's getting to be a glorified blocker in many systems.
It's just really weird. We're not seeing the breakouts that we usually saw. Like a Mark Andrews last year was a breakout. We've seen Zach Ertz be a breakout, obviously Travis Kelce. And it doesn't seem like anybody's really breaking out this year. And that's becoming more of the trend. The guy that I'm looking at here, he's actually had an okay. Now, remember, we're talking about the tight end landscape. But the guy that I'm going to be targeting in DFS is actually going to be Logan Thomas of the Washington football team going against the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, over the last 4 games, he played the Giants, got 12 points in our league. Went against Dallas, got 14 points. In both of those games, he had a touchdown. And then we played against the Giants again. Only got about 5 points. So, okay, that was a little bit lower, but still, it's better than 0, right? It's better than one point. And then last week against Detroit, he almost had 9. points.
Right, but again,
So,
no touchdown in the last 2 weeks, Sean. I mean, that's the thing with tight ends, though, right? Is you go for the touchdown risk, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're dependent on that tight end, but I mean, here's the thing: in the last 2 matchups, as with Alex Smith as the QB, he got 6 targets.
That's
and
right.
3 or 4 receptions. So
for both 6 targets last 2 games with Alex Smith. 6 targets each game. 3 receptions against Giants, 4 against Detroit. So
I think that's a good pick. That's a solid pick.
What is his value? 5,200 you said, or 5,000? What'd you say?
So I need to look up his right here. He's $3,300. Logan Thomas. So that's, I mean, $3,300. I mean, you typically tight ends are lower anyway, but that's who I'm targeting. Now I needed to go lower there because of my running backs. So, and then the defensive DFS play, I'm going with Cleveland against who knows what's happening with that Philly offense. It's just so sporadic. I think if we do get weather in that game, Cleveland has shown they can shut teams down when there is weather. They're playing in Cleveland. And, I'm a little worried about Miles Sanders because I think he's a little bit undervalued, but the Cleveland front can play when they need to. So I'm going Cleveland as my defensive play of the week.